Thank you, Adrian. Good evening, everyone. 11 championship wins already in the bag for Sheffield United following their meek surrendering of their Premier League status. Chris Wilder said he needed to rebuild the team from scratch, and he wasn't wrong. There are just 3 survivors tonight from their doomed top-flight campaign, and amid continued delays to a takeover and investment, he's once again created an ethos, a style, and a togetherness so often associated with him and the red and white side of Sheffield. Sunderland are the latest to try and breach Fortress Bramall Lane. They themselves are exceeding expectations following a calamitous end to last season. Their failure to turn a couple of the recent draws into wins is all that separates them from top spot in the Championship, something even the most ardent Black Cat supporters didn't expect. They are the 4th highest scorers in the league, but with 3 goalless draws in 5 games, you have to question their ability to overcome a United defence that last conceded here when nights were light and T-shirts and shorts were the order of the day. A combined 16-game unbeaten streak makes this one huge night of football for both. Will the Black Cats be on the prowl in Sheffield tonight, or will the Blades blunt them like they have the 7 teams who've come here before them? Whatever happens, it's one of the biggest games in the Championship so far this season, and it's live right now here on TalkSport 2. Sheffield United make 2 changes tonight. Cooper is the goalkeeper. Gilchrist and Burrows come in at fullback alongside Sutter and Robinson to complete the back 4. Peck and Sousa in central midfield, with Raksaki, O'Hare and Harmer providing the support to Tyrese Campbell. Davis, McCallum, Shackleton, Davis, Norrington Davis, Marsh, Brooks, Sariki and one complete the bench for Sheffield United. As for Sunderland, they're unchanged from Tuesday night's goalless draw against West Bromwich Albion. Patterson continues in goal. O'Neill, Meppen, Ballard and Hume at the back 4. Neal and Bellingham in central midfield, with Roberts, Rigg and Watson supporting Isidore, who's up front. The bench is unchanged too, with Moore, Mayenda, Rusin, Ayochichi, Connolly, Alexic, Kelder, Johnson and Alessi making up the substitutes for Regis Lebree's side. As ever, a wonderful atmosphere inside Bramall Lane, and someone who knows all about that is alongside me, the former Sheffield United striker, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. And when the lights are on in Sheffield, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah, look, just listen to that. It's a fantastic atmosphere, and obviously when this team are going well, there's nothing like it. And obviously the crowd are trying to serenade the players for another big performance tonight, because they go top of the table. The impetus is back on them, and it's over to you, Leeds.
And what a top of the table it's starting to look like in the Championship. Burnley, Leeds, Sheffield United, Sunderland, 4 massive clubs all striving to get their place back in the Premier League. And it's Sheffield United who are kicking from right to left in the opening 45 minutes here at Bramall Lane tonight, and they've immediately given the ball away. Isidore down that left-hand side trying to charge forward, but a really good challenge in the end for Harry Suter, who's on loan, of course, from Leicester City. Charge down that left-hand side for Burrows, who gets a decent ball into the box towards O'Hare, who couldn't quite get a shot away. It was well defended in the end, and it will be cleared here from the edge of the box down this left-hand side. And the ball from the left-hand side, of course, was delivered for Sunderland on that occasion by Trey Hume. It wasn't a bad ball as well. And it's Hare who tried to get the clearance away. Now a chance on that right-hand side for Sheffield United to come forward here with, on the far side, Alfie Gilchrist on loan, of course, from Chelsea. Back to the very impressive Michael Cooper. What a goalkeeper he's been so far this season.
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant, and for years and years West Fodringham has been that player in goal and acquitted himself extremely well. So I think it was always going to be a tough one changing that over, not just in terms of a player but emotionally as well. But my word, Cooper's come in, has been absolutely excellent, and one of the main reasons why, obviously, along with the defence, that Sheffield United defensive record is as good as it is.
Yeah, Suter alongside Robinson tonight. Ahmed Hodzic, of course, is suspended after a bit of a brain fade, I think, against Coventry. Isidore's on the charge again here for Sunderland. He's just tried to slip the ball to the right-hand side to Roberts, who tucked himself in on this occasion. But it's well looked after in the centre of midfield on that occasion by Peck, the youngster. Scored, of course, when he was playing for the England under-20s. And has made an impressive start to his Sheffield United career.
I mentioned Suter as well, and as you say, on loan from Leicester, and you're thinking with some of the injuries they've had at the back and not looking too convincing at the back at times, whether they regret sending him out on loan, to be honest, because he's been brilliant for Sheffield United.
Burrows gets it back towards Robinson, who captains the side tonight. Chris Wilder is in his technical area, all suited and booted tonight. Regis Lebrie as ever, track suited just down below us as he watches on, and Early touches for Harrison Burrows. Used to see him in the Peterborough shirt, of course, but here he is in the red and white stripes, and here's Callum O'Hare. O'Hare to the right-hand side. Raksaki with possession 25 yards out from goal. Far touchline, just gives it back once more to Gilchrist. Gilchrist goes infield to Peck. And Sheffield United just keeping the ball and showing some patience, which Chris Wilder has talked about in his programme notes tonight. They work it out to this left-hand side to Burrows. Burrows will come short again, where Harmer is there to pick up possession. A couple of assists for him in midweek in that 3-0 victory against Oxford. O'Hare back to Robinson, and again, very patient on the ball. And Wilder has asked for the supporters tonight to show patience, because there will be different ways they have to play at times at home.
Yeah, and you see now Sunderland in their defensive shape. It's not even a mid-block. They've gone right into a low block in a 4-4-2. So they're going to have to be really patient, Sheffield United, and move the ball quickly to try and open up gaps.
And they're trying it down that right-hand side again with Gilchrist, who's gone into an advanced position on that far touchline. Chance to cross, no, waits by the byline and wins a corner, the first of the game for Sheffield United. 3.5 minutes in, here on TalkSport 2, goalless, but an early opportunity from a set piece.
Yeah, and obviously they're missing Ahmed Hodzic, that's normally so good in the air, but you mentioned the stature of Suter, so he's always a threat, and the way that Robinson will throw himself at absolutely anything. It's always a big opportunity from a set piece for Blades.
It's taken short this time, and it's O'Hare inside the penalty area. It's worked out to the edge of the box, and a left-footed shot from Harmer flies high and wide. He's had the most shots of anyone in the Championship this season. He blasted over the bar.
Yeah, normally they're not as bad as that one. He'll be disappointed, but I think Harmer is a fantastic talent, and linking back up with O'Hare as well. I think that's been wonderful to watch, and you see they've got such a fantastic relationship on the pitch, and I used to love that when you play with someone where you don't have to think about it, and you can see that those two have got that.
Sunderland on that far side. First chance to try and keep hold of some possession here with Watson, who looks to cut infield, which he does towards Bellingham. And it's clipped forward that time by Rigg, but Isidore is very isolated at this moment in time. He was the only player in the Sheffield United half, and he was barely going over the halfway line at the time. And it's picked up again by Sheffield United, who are seeing so much of the ball early on in this game. What's worrying, I think, for every other team is that Chris Wilder's talked about home being really important. He thinks they can only get better. Well, they haven't conceded since August.
Well, exactly. I think, as I mentioned earlier, defensively, I think that's what winning championships are built on. There are some times, especially at home, where I think they maybe focus more at times on the defensive side, and I think he might be right in a way, Chris Wilder, where attacking at times there is more to come from them, so it's a scary prospect for anyone coming to Bramall Lane.
Just over 10.5 hours of football they've played here without conceding a goal. And Sunderland yet to threaten, really. 5.5 minutes played. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Picked up in the middle of the park that time by Neil, who comes forward down this right-hand side. On the attack that time was Luke O'Nien. And again, Trey Hume has come out to the right-hand side tonight, which is a bit of a switch from what we saw on Tuesday night for Sunderland. They have shuffled things around a little bit at the back at times. The charge on here down this near touchline towards the byline. It's driven forward by Burrows after really good work first time round by Tyrese Campbell, and it's going to be out of play on this near side for a throw.
That's the confident player in Tyrese Campbell. It doesn't come off, but when a player does that, puts the ball one side and tries to run the other, you know that they are absolutely full of confidence doing that.
Scored in his last 3 games. The last Sheffield United player to manage it in 4 was David McGoldrick, who's celebrating his birthday today as well. 37 years of age and still going strong.
Happy birthday, Didsy.
Go down this near touchline, and he's going to bounce by Robinson, and it bounces out of play, and back to Cooper away to our right hand side. Had a terrific season, of course, with Plymouth last time round, Michael Cooper, and there was a bit of a standoff in the summer because he wanted to leave, and he's lifting the ball forward here down this left hand side for Harrison Burrows. There was on the charge after it, just too much on it in the end. And maybe just a sign there that the different ways that Chris Wilder is saying they need to play, going a little more direct that time. Yeah,
and it's horses for courses, but that's what it's got to be, adaptable in the game, because they've kept possession at times. They've drawn Sunderland out of that low block, and that's when that moment then is on to try and get behind them, when they've created a little space in behind that Sunderland black line.
Gavin Ward is the man in charge tonight. 12th Championship game of the season for him. And we've been going just over 7 minutes here. Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0 on TalkSport 2. I'm going to say, it's like shuffle at the back with Trey Hume now playing on this right-hand side for Sunderland. Nepham alongside him, of course, and Ben Ballard, and on the left-hand side today, Luke O'Nien, which is the opposite way they set up on Tuesday night against West Bromwich Albion in that reshuffled backline. Dennis Sirkin not yet fit following surgery on his wrist. He's back on the grass, as that's almost given away at the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area, but it took a good tackle again from Harry Souttar to keep possession for the Blades, and then they try and work it forward down that right-hand side. Vinny Souza inside the centre circle just turns his back on the potential pass and asks Sheffield United to build again from the back with Robinson. His diagonal is strong out wide to that far right-hand side. Raksaki, lovely bit of skill to take it infield, and O'Hare is there to help support. Now Gilchrist wide on that right-hand side. Crossing position for him, and Raksaki have made the run inside the penalty area, but he can't guide it goalwards. Instead, he just guides it to the left-hand side of the upright of Anthony Patterson.
Well, he deserved a goal just for the initial out on the right-hand side. O'Nien gets caught underneath it. Does so well, Raksaki, to bring it down. He makes the run inside as well. Doesn't get the first one for the 1-2, but what I love about that is he keeps his run going. And it would have been a difficult finish from there, but that's why I love watching him, because he's so electric.
It's very exciting. And of course, he scored in midweek as well. That's a lovely ball slipped into the box. Isidore just tries to get onto the end of it. It was a delightful ball played in wide on this right-hand side by Hume. And Isidore wasn't far away from getting on the end of that. Slight warning there for Sheffield United. Yeah,
and I tell you what, it's a brilliant ball in terms of just get it out your feet and try and roll it in behind the back four. And as you say, Isidore wasn't far away, but I think in terms of that defending, just leaning on him a little bit just to put him off balance worked.
Keeper away to our right-hand side for Sheffield United. It may have been Roberts with that pass. It's the first time he's been out in this wide position. Here's Harmer, who's done well, then slips that into Campbell at the edge of the penalty area. And again, another incredibly good challenge at the edge of the penalty area. Sporting the moustache tonight as well is Trey Hume. Really good tackle.
Yeah, it had to be, because if not, Campbell is in one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Impressive. I'm assuming that moustache is for November. There's a fair few of them doing the rounds for sure. Here's Robinson from this left-hand side. He's levelled the edge of the penalty area as he launches that long throw of his into the box. It's cleared away, but only as far as Gilchrist, who wins the header out wide to this left-hand side. Robinson's there again, helps on his way, that time to Souza, and there's a very obvious handball from Souza, who's insisting it was his chest. But Gavin Ward's alert to that, and 10 minutes played here. It'll be a free kick for Sunderland, and it's 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, it bounces up. It's one of those, we are giggling because it's that comical. I love the fact that he tries to carry on and plead his innocence, but the referee gets that one right.
The 25-year-old Brazilian Vinny Souza, signed of course back in August 2023 from Flamengo. As we said, he was a player that, well, he did very well to cling on to. A few weren't too happy with some of his Premier League performances, but he's certainly shone in the Championship so far this season. Here's Trey Hume out wide to Roberts on this near touch line. Only a penalty goal for him this season. He's been fairly quiet. I think he's missing his mate Jack Clark, of course, who departed for Ipswich, because on the two flanks they were quite devastating at times early part of the season for Sunderland. Watson on that far side trying to find his way towards the edge of the penalty area, but they do well to keep possession here with Hume again. His ball forward, tried to pick out the advancing Chris Rigg at the edge of the area, but it's back with Dan Neil. It's only half cleared for Sheffield United, who give possession away again. Roberts on this near touchline, the former Man City man. Again, he'll be looking to come in field all the time, and Sheffield United aware of that. Harmer closes him down and pushes him infield but away from goal. And it's back with Roberts, who's seeing an awful lot of the ball at this moment in time. Hume, and they're not advancing very far, suddenly midway inside the Sheffield United half. That's a bit more direct to Dan Neil, who tries the shot, which is comfortably blocked that time inside the penalty area by Souttar. And now a break on maybe for O'Hare, who is almost like a bunny that's running on batteries, isn't he? He just does not stop all the time. He looks incredibly busy.
Yeah, he does, and he's likened a lot to Jack Grealish, and you can see why. Got a similar stature, similar ability on the ball as well at times.
There's a foul there and a free kick for Sunderland, and it's midway inside the Sheffield United half, so an opportunity maybe here from a set piece for Sunderland to cause problems. And I mean, when you've had 3 0-0s in the last 5 games, and you know you are missing so many of your attacking options, does it start to just play with you a little bit in the mind?
Yeah, I think it does, but you've got to find the positives in that, in terms of you've not lost games. And I think that's important. You know, you can go into your analysis meeting saying we've got that unbeaten run, and that's something they need to hold on to.
Watson and Roberts are over this. The right foot of Watson potentially, or the left foot of Roberts. So Roberts has decided to make the run, so Watson's playing that one in low, and it evades everyone, and Cooper can gather it in the 6-yard area. Well, it's a clever ball to play in the end, I think, and it was O'Neill who wasn't too far away from getting on the end of it. Yeah,
it was an unbelievable ball, and I don't know what goes on there. I think it's because he's congested in the 6-yard box. It just comes at him, it bounces up, and it almost bounced off the top of his shoulder. If he goes for a diving header there, O'Neill, I think it's in the back of the net, but I just don't think he was expecting the ball.
Scored goals against Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday in the early days of the season, did Luke O'Neill, from set pieces, funnily enough, and he almost added a third there. Just took him a little bit by surprise, but clearly something they'd worked on the training ground. Oh, that's a poor ball given away to Watson. Here's Watson, he's over halfway. Ball at feet on the charge here, Watson. 4 around him. He's still going, the youngster, towards the edge of the penalty area. And in the end, the ball runs out of play, and it'll be a corner on the far side. It looked like he'd actually tripped Vinny Sousa then, as Watson went down at the edge of the penalty area, but the referee deciding it's a corner for Sunderland.
Yeah, and it's surprising, that one. Definitely at first, it looked to me like he had been tripped over, Sousa, and it's a strange decision.
Sousa holding his right hamstring at the moment, looking a little uncomfortable. As we mentioned, he and Peck, the 2 central midfielders, with Arblaster's injury and him being out for the rest of the season. But good run there for Watson. It's going to be a corner on that far side, which Roberts is going to swing over with the left boot. The danger cleared away by Sousa. It's out as far as Watson at the edge of the penalty area. Hard fought, trying to win the ball that time was O'Hare, but it's back with Watson again. He's got Peck trying to stop him. Gets it onto his right foot, tries to bend one, but it is Peck that comes across and delivers the block. Raksaki then loses possession 10 yards inside his own half, and Sunderland have it back again, and they're having their best spell of the game, Courtney.
Yeah, they are. They're just starting to come back into it. You see, they're a bit more confident. They're more aggressive in the press, winning the ball back as well in higher areas.
Ball across the back this time, and forward it goes from Ballard. It's been in good form for Northern Ireland, certainly goal-scoring wise, as Ballard in recent times in his internationals. 3 goals in his last 6 internationals for Northern Ireland. Could do with a goal or 2 for Sunderland to help him out at the moment, that's for sure. Here's Watson again on that far side, just slips the ball inside. It's cut back towards the penalty spot where Rigg was waiting, and they'll play it out from the back rather than get it clear, and it'll give an opportunity here once more for Hume just to cushion the ball down towards the edge of the box to try and find Roberts, and there's a foul in the end, and the free kick is given for the challenge, that time on Harrison Burrows, midway inside the Sheffield United half.
Really positive by Sunderland, though, the fact that they're aggressive, they're in the faces of Sheffield United. When they're winning it back, they're a bit more composed, they're keeping the ball for longer periods of time, and yes, there's a couple of times where Sheffield United have given it away, but that's because of the intent of Sunderland to try and win the ball back, and they're panicking them in that final third.
Haven't tasted victory since the 26th of October against Oxford, but they are unbeaten in those last 10 games. Just the last 5 of them have all been stalemates. Are you surprised actually at how Sunderland are being quite so aggressive? Do you think they'll be a little bit more passive and sit in a little more?
I did initially, and that's what actually initially they did do, but I think they realised if they were going to do that, it's going to be a long night. So there's got to be that balance between, you don't want to go right into a low block and really invite the pressure. Equally, you don't want to go too high, too aggressive and be open too quickly. So I just think they're feeling their way into the game. And yeah, in terms of, we know they've got a young squad, but it shows their experience and how they're learning as they go along to try and change that as the game is going on.
Left of the ball clipped forward by Robinson down this near side. He finds Burrows in an advanced position level with a penalty spot. Burrows just teasing and then goes back to Harmer. Harmer on his right foot, thinks about a shot. Does he? 25 yards out, he does. Takes a deflection and a wicked one, and he goes behind for another corner.
Yeah, and why not? I think Sunderland will be a little bit disappointed that they don't close that one down earlier, because he's allowed to run across the box 10, 15 yards. It starts to open up, no one's pressing him, and it's just lucky that the shot, they get the block on that Sunderland, and that as well could have gone anywhere, but Mepham does well.
He does, the man on loan from Bournemouth, of course. They paid £12 million to take him from Brentford to Bournemouth, but he's spending a season up in the northeast as they swing the corner over. Right-footed one this time, an outswinger, which is quite surprising because 94% of Sheffield United's corners this season have been in-swinging. This time the out-swinger, and it comes to nothing as the ball goes out of play, and it'll be a goal kick away to our left-hand side. It's been a breathless opening 17 and a half minutes here at Bramall Lane on TalkSport 2, and it remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0.
Yeah, and it's in the balance, as I mentioned. I think early on, Sunderland were under so much pressure from Sheffield United. They went into that low block, they invited the pressure, and the Blaze duly obliged. But now they're working their way into the game, Sunderland. They're working in areas that are higher up the pitch. It's just that last little bit for both teams, really. We've not had real quality in the final third as yet.
It remains goalless as well over on TalkSport in the Premier League game that's exclusive to TalkSport tonight. Brighton 0, Southampton 0. If you are listening on the app, of course, you can just swipe across between the commentaries. And it's goalless in the FA Cup as well. Harrogate Town 0, Gainsborough Trinity 0 as things stand. Sheffield United with possession, with Robinson on halfway. Finds Burrows on this left-hand side. Back into Robinson again, of course, who missed a clutch of games, did Robinson. He was missing from the middle of August through to the early part of November, but he's back in full effect now. And boy, did they need him with that suspension for Ahmed Hodzic as well. But he's such an influential player, one of those three survivors from the Premier League campaign, of course.
Along with his centre-half partner Suter, is a defender that loves defending, just not bothered about putting their body in the way at the right time. And that should be a defender's life, but it's a little bit different now. But he's still got that ability with his left foot playing out from the back too.
Talking about ability, Gilchrist down that right-hand side has done incredibly well. And the free kick, I think, or the goal kick's been given, I say, by Gavin Ward on that far side. Gilchrist on loan from Chelsea. And again, another who's impressed in his time here so far at Sheffield United. He looks to have plenty about him.
Yeah, he really does, but coming up against 09 there, who was really experienced, going toe-to-toe, not an inch given, and 09 wins that one, but it's going to be one to watch, that battle.
Certainly will, as the Sunderland play out from the back, a real dangerous game, playing over the top of Tyrese Campbell on that occasion, inside their own penalty area, but it's worked. They've broken the press down this right-hand side with Trey Hume, who's still going towards the edge of the penalty area. Roberts is outside him here on the near side, doesn't fall nicely for his left foot, and in the end it's had a play for what will be a throw to Sheffield United, right by the corner flag in their left-back position.
Yeah, and Hume initially does well, but I think there's a bit of indecision. Isidore checks his run about 3 times to try and get on the ball, so I think he can see him out the corner of his eye, and then by the time plays the ball down the right-hand side, it was too late. Just needed to go half a second earlier, in my opinion.
Applause around the stadium for Brian Wise as we tick through into the 21st minute of the game. Bramall Lane with a few empty seats tonight. Some in the, I would say there's some in the away end, but actually they look like they're well packed out, these Sunderland supporters who made the journey. It's only about 125 miles south to Bramall Lane. So on this near side for Sheffield United, it remains 0-0. And Chris Wilder getting on the action as he gives his instructions to Harrison Burrows, who'll take the throw on this near side for Sheffield United. All the way back to Cooper, away to our right-hand side, and Cooper will take a touch and then clear, but only as far as, again, Hume, and then into the feet of Roberts. Roberts tries to come forward again. It was a good interception that time by Vinny Susan. He's done it a second time too. And Harmer has it deep inside his own half, and that's a dreadful pass on the outside of his right, but he tried a raking one out to the far touchline, but he's put it straight into touch.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is down to Sunderland as well in terms of their harrying Sheffield United. They're making them panic. So in terms of that quality on the ball for Sheffield United, it has lessened, and you've got to give credit to Sunderland for that.
Plenty more live football for you across the weekend. Tomorrow lunchtime, of course, we're back in the Championship here on TalkSport 2. Watford against Queen's Park Rangers. That's from 12:30. And an early start tomorrow for Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Darren Bent and Scott Minto from 1 o'clock over on TalkSport. Lovely run inside the penalty area for Roberts, who was still going. And Sousa has just used his experience then to get his body and his shoulder in the way to do enough just to block the run of Roberts.
It's absolutely brilliant, because you go too far with that, you give a penalty away. Not enough, and he wriggles through. So that is wonderful defending by Vinny Sousa.
Robinson from the left back position clips it forward, just a chipped ball in the air, and it's taken down this time by Hume, who then turns forward on this near side, and there's a free kick given away for the challenge on Neil on halfway for Sunderland. Midway point in the first half already. This game really rattling along. Still 0-0, and not really a clear goal scoring opportunity for either side as yet.
No, it's in the balance. The momentum has certainly shifted as we've gone through the game to and fro.
Early ball into the box that time from the left-hand side by Luke O'Neill, but it was a head of Isidore again and easily gathered by Cooper.
Yes, something that I do think though Sunderland are trying to pinpoint, that early ball out from the flanks in behind the back four of Sheffield United, and I think it's the right idea. The forwards are making the right movements. It's just then that last little bit of the quality on the ball.
Both these sides only suffered 2 championship defeats so far this season. Of course, for Sheffield United, they were back-to-back defeats in mid-October, both away from home against Leeds and Middlesbrough. Again, 2 sides who you're sure are going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Sunderland, of course, won their opening 4 games of the campaign before losing a 5-goal thriller down at Wayne Rooney's Plymouth as well. Sheffield United then, as they have had for large portions of this opening 23 minutes, in possession down this left-hand side with Robinson into Burrows to Harmer, and his touchback finds Sousa, who has to make 5 or 6 yards to collect possession back towards his own halfway line. And Sousa will now look to the left. Robinson's there. Everyone's inside the Sunderland half. Robinson goes direct this time to the far edge of the penalty area. He was looking for Raksaki, I think, and it's nodded safely down into the arms of Patterson away to our left-hand side.
Yeah, it's actually really calm defending, isn't it, in that situation, because you know if you get that wrong, then you're giving the ball to Sheffield United in the box. But Sunderland are certainly growing into this game and looking great value. 25 minutes gone.
Yeah, Patterson with 7 clean sheets to his name in that Sunderland goal, and 10 for Michael Cooper. So we've got 2 of the best in the Championship on show tonight for sure. 2 of the best defences as well. 12 goals conceded by Sunderland, just 9 by Sheffield United. Of course, only Burnley with fewer. And actually, they have the best home defence here with Burnley, don't they, as well? Just 2 conceded at home for both those sides.
And I think when you look at all the metrics in terms of shots on target, passing accuracy, they're all so close between these 2 clubs. I think the only big one that's for Sheffield United's favour, they've only dropped 4 points from winning positions, and Sunderland have dropped 9. So that's how close it is between these sides. You know, we're talking about 3 points, and all the metrics are so close. And Sunderland, such a young team, they've got to give credit to themselves for that.
First time I think we've seen Joe Bellingham on the ball, and he's helped to set Sunderland away down this right-hand side with Roberts, who has Trey Hume with him in support. Does well though, as he just steps away from Harmer, but again he's almost running into a cul-de-sac because he's gone nowhere, not really aggressive enough, as Hume tries to be the aggressor and does well. Here's Rigg, edge of the penalty area, tips that one across to Bellingham. Bellingham 25 yards out, thinks about a shot, then goes out to this right-hand side where Roberts is waiting. Right-hand edge of the box on the angle, slips it to Hume, cuts the ball back inside the penalty area. Chance to finish for Bellingham, it's blocked, and it's blocked well, and there's the shot from Watson, and it's over the bar. Well, just for a moment there, that charmed Sheffield United goal that hasn't conceded here since August looked like it was in real danger.
Yeah, it's the first big chance, isn't it? And Roberts does well, he bides his time, and he knows he's got Hume bombing on the overlap on the right hand side. Isidore can't get anything to it, and Joe Bellingham initially really has to stretch to get on the ball, manages to get the shot off, and it's for me the best chance of the game so far, and it falls to Sunderland, and it's a great block, isn't it? I think it's Gilchrist.
It is. Gilchrist does it in the end, and Sheffield United almost caught their Courtney playing out from inside their own penalty area again. The press was good from Sunderland. It looked like a foul on halfway there on Tyrese Campbell, but Gavin Ward again waves it away, and Sunderland can gather possession. I think as a striker you would have thought that was a bit he's almost getting hauled over to the ground.
I wanted a piggyback by the look of it.
Remind us, once we're done here of course tonight at Bramall Lane, we're off to New Zealand, to Christchurch for day 3 of that wonderfully poised first test between New Zealand and England. England looking to try and get themselves in front of New Zealand and build a sizable lead. You would feel that we'll have coverage of that exclusive to TalkSport 2 once we're done here at Bramall Lane tonight. Here's Roberts onto his left foot, tries to hit one, he hits it low, and it's blocked by Robinson up in the air, and Hume again on this near side will battle for it. The ball's still in play, no one's going after it, and the assistant signals it will be a goal kick away to our right-hand side for Sheffield United.
A bit of a strange one, that. I think if Hume chases that, he probably gets on it, because Harmer was actually looking away from the ball. It just completely died the pace on it.
We've had 27 and a half minutes. It remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0 on TalkSport 2. Almost at December, of course. Busy December coming up across the TalkSport network. 50 live games for you throughout December. It will be a real cracker of a month, you feel, as Bellingham pokes that with the outside of his boot forward. Oh, lovely touch. Here's Watson. Watson in the penalty. Still going penalty. Has to be. It is a penalty. Gavin Ward points to the spot. Watson's the player that goes down, and it was elementary there as Watson went to the ground for Ward to point to the spot.
It really was. Well played, by the way, with that. Love that little Sherlock Holmes reference. But no, in terms of the way that Sheffield United there were wide open, that's not something that we're used to seeing from them from defence. Yes, the run from Watson was brilliant, and the way that he opens up to either look like he's going to shoot or pass it out to his right and then just curls it back inside, there is no doubt about that one. It's a Stonewall penalty, and I don't really know what Robinson is thinking there. He knows he has to take evasive action, don't get me wrong, but the initial shape of that Sheffield United defence is worrying.
Well, Watson's been impressive so far tonight. He's won the penalty, which Patrick Roberts, who's already converted one this season, will take. It's Roberts against Cooper, away to our right-hand side. Couple of steps, left-footed save by Cooper, turned around the post, a terrific save, low down to his left-hand side. It wasn't the best penalty, however, Cooper did so well to get down so low so quickly, and yet again Sheffield United keep that record of not conceding here since August intact.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, wasn't a fantastic penalty. They had a fair amount of power on it, and as you say, for Cooper to get down, and then the fact that he parries it away, not back into the danger, it's a fantastic save.
It's a corner for Sunderland down this right-hand side. Second penalty of the season for Roberts. Scored one, missed one. Goes down in the stats book for him. Listen to the noise now inside Bramall Lane. All the hard work done by Tom Watson. No reward though. And it's going to be Rigg, I think, who's going to deliver the corner from this right-hand side. Just waits for a moment. Gavin Ward not happy about some of the stuff going on inside the penalty. He's always been in there once to have a conversation, and now he's pulling players out, and he's pulling Robinson out in particular, and Method.
Yeah, and they're obviously just jostling for positions, aren't they? I think sometimes this frustrates me with players, because referees give chance after chance. He's saying no more, so hopefully that is that. But sometimes referees give chance after chance. Just book them. Now stop doing it.
Well said. Here's the corner on this near side, which Rigg will take. He's got Watson short, and it's Watson the option he goes for. He's on the charge again on his right foot. Brilliant from Watson. Drills it across the box. Comes back out against the left foot of Rigg, swung towards that back post. Cooper goes up, loses it first time, but gathers it at the second attempt, but the offside flag was up anyway. Game has sprung to life now.
Yeah, it really has, and you feel for Sunderland's sake, they need to try and capitalise on this good momentum that they've gained. Again, Watson does really well down that right-hand side. It's a fantastic ball in. He knows there's lots of bodies in there, so drill it hard and low. But this is the time for Sunderland to really push on. And you know, we spoke about their draws, haven't we, in recent weeks, and this is why, because in these types of moments, they haven't converted the chances that they've got.
Listen, a brilliant shot of an older gentleman in the stand behind the goal who had his fingers crossed, eyes shut, and he was praying upwards as that penalty was about to be taken. Well, all his prayers were answered. Watson again on that far side. He's giving Gilchrist a tough time, but on this occasion Gilchrist is more than up to the job. It'll be a throw for Sunderland down that left-hand side. When you are struggling for goals and you get a penalty, I mean, what an opportunity. Yeah,
and it's Roberts. It's not the worst penalty I've seen, but it's not great in terms of the direction of it. Wasn't anywhere near being in the corner, and this is where normally your eyes are up and you think, yes, this is the opportunity. And it'll be interesting to see what that does now mentally to Sunderland, because they might be thinking, here we go again. We had the opportunity to go ahead, we haven't. Is it going to be the same old story that it has been for the last 5 games?
Early in the season, Michael Cooper went 677 minutes without conceding a goal. He's made a Another terrific save tonight. Here is Watson in the box on that left foot. Appears! Drills it across, and it's going to be a goal kick, because I think it definitely came off maybe Bellingham, who was inside that 6-yard box, or Isidore, in fact, at the near post. Watson was certainly going for goal, but his own players diverted it behind for a goal kick.
And again, Watson's the one, isn't he? He's the one that looks like, if anything's going to happen, the breakthrough for Sunderland, it's going to be coming from him, and it's another wonderful ball across, and I think that should have been a corner, actually.
Yeah, it looks like it should, actually, doesn't it? Looking at the replays, Brighton are in front in the game that's live over on TalkSport right now. Matoma, the goal scorer for Brighton, who lead Southampton by 1-0. And of course, if you are listening on the TalkSport app, you can flick across the commentary of that game. But why would you want to leave us here? Because this is just bubbling up nicely. Almost 33 minutes played. It remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0 on TalkSport 2. A penalty already saved in this game by Michael Cooper to deny Sunderland, and a free kick goes the way of Sheffield United, hence the ironic cheers and rounds.
Yeah, and it was because as well, just probably about 30 seconds earlier, it was Mepham and Campbell. He had so much of his shirt, Mepham, it was unbelievable. And then there's that moment where then I get confused with the referee, because for me, you need to be consistent. There's loads of tackles flying in, 6 one and half a dozen the other, so why let some go and pull some up? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, went over the top to try and find Harmer. Burrows was coming in as well, but Sunderland win it back with Rigg, and now Bellingham. Bellingham gets it forward into the feet of Isidore, who's challenged, and Sheffield United win it back with a bustling challenge that Isidore didn't like, but the referee was fine with. And it's Vinny Souza inside the centre circle, and maybe that's what Sheffield United need, because I think the last 15-20 minutes it's been all about Sunderland. Raksaki on that far side though, trying to make things happen here for the Blades. Souza goes in for the challenge, but the pass to him did leave him in a bit of a precarious position, and Isidore gets a touch for Sunderland. Now a chance to break away, this time with Rigg. Advantage being played. Watson towards the edge of the penalty area, left hand edge. Watson still going on his right foot this time, and he shoots just wide of the right hand post of Michael Cooper. And there is going to be a yellow card here, and it's coming for Souter for his initial challenge on Isidore that the referee waved play onto.
Yeah, and I think Watson there, the angle might have closed down for him. It's hard to tell from here, but for me, you've got to be trying to go across the goalkeeper, because you play the odds, not just then if it goes in for you, but it might ricochet, it might come to a teammate. I think it's really difficult in that position to try and find the near post, and that's what we're seeing with this side, isn't it? Sometimes it's a little bit of decision making, but they're so young, some of these players, and it will come with experience with time, but they need a goal now.
Well, they've certainly been the better team, haven't they, for much of this first half, that's for sure. And mainly driven by young Watson over there.
Yeah, and they've looked the most threatening, without a doubt. And what I love about it from Sunderland is actually, yes, they're under pressure, but they've figured it out as they've gone along on the pitch, and I think that's a fantastic thing, especially when you've got such a young side. It's
a brilliant flick from Roberts. He finds Rigg. Rigg just holds the ball up nicely to try and escape from Peck that time, but he loses out in the end as there was additional support coming for Sheffield United, and Harmer now down this left-hand side finds Burrows, who goes early to Tyrese Campbell, who then just tries to clip the ball round Mepham, and in the end it runs out of play, and will be a goal kick away to our left-hand side for Sunderland. 10 minutes to go in this first half on TalkSport 2. It remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. And Watson again just coming a little bit deep on that far side now to pick up possession. That breaks to Peck for Sheffield United, but Watson intervenes midway inside his own half, gives it short to Joe Bellingham, and he'll go to this right-hand side where Trey Hume is waiting. Roberts is on the touchline, right in front of Chris Wilder down below us. He goes infield again to Chris Rigg, who's looking tidy on the ball. He likes to look after it. Dan Neil will go short again to Hume, and Roberts on this near touchline is the best option for Sunderland. Infield they go again. Now Rigg down this right-hand side, level with the edge of the box, plays the ball in early. It's only half clear. Comes to Bellingham at the edge of the box, who was being challenged by Raksaki, and I think he did enough then to put Bellingham off. And Sheffield United get it clear with Raksaki again up to Campbell inside the centre circle, who holds the ball up well and is fouled in the process by Mepham, and Sheffield United get the free kick.
Yeah, and again, Sunderland do really well down that right-hand side. The only thing I will say is when that ball goes in, there's got to be more players in the box to aim for. It's lucky that Joe Bellingham is trying to back it up on the edge of the box, but in the ideal world, you want 3-4 players in there, try and compete for that.
Just over 8 minutes remaining in this first half. Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. Top of the Championship. Very little to choose between them, but the visitors They're unbeaten in their last 5 on the road. Have been the more impressive of the two sides, but failed to take the best chance of the game. The penalty for Patrick Roberts, which was saved by Michael Cooper. Wide on this left-hand touchline is Harrison Burrows. 25 yards out from goal. He goes back inside. Peck is there. Peck towards the edge of the box. Lovely flick from O'Hare. Looking to find Campbell, but again, it's well defended that time by Ballard. And Watson's fouled by Vinny Souza. And it will be a free kick for Sunderland, 10 yards short of halfway. We have live Premier League football for you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock here on TalkSport 2. Nottingham Forest against Ipswich. That's going to be live for you from the City Ground. And on Sunday as well, we've got more Championship and FA Cup action for you. Kettering against Doncaster is live from 12 o'clock in the second round of the FA Cup. And then Derby against Sheffield Wednesday from 3 o'clock in the afternoon with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside Ian Dancer. You're very busy this weekend.
It's the best time of the year, isn't it? Football on every day. What more could you want?
When are you going to squeeze in your Christmas shopping, Courtney? That's the question.
Yeah, I think that's what there's some certain online retailers for.
Here is a lovely charge forward, this time by Ballard, who's still going towards the edge of the penalty. Isidore was offside, and it will be a free kick for Sheffield United at the edge of their own penalty area. And Ballard will now slowly make his way back to try and get into some shape. Bit of frustration from the home supporters because playing out from the back has not been too successful at times so far tonight for Sheffield United.
No, they haven't. In that moment there, they win the free kick, and I understand the urgency of wanting to get on the ball, wanting to play forward quickly, but when you're under pressure like that, sometimes you just need to calm it down a little bit, because you see them, because they're urgent, because they're being harried, they give it away far too cheaply.
Chris Wilder will probably be very eager to get his troops in at half-time just to see if he can make a few adjustments, because they've certainly been on the thick end of it here from Sunderland, but to their credit it still remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. On that far side, forward it goes again, this time from Ballard. Oh, it's given away to Harmer. Harmer through towards the edge of the box. Campbell's there. Sliding challenge. Referee whistles and gives. He's a free kick or penalty. It's a free kick. Right at the edge of the box. He was asking for some help from his assistant on the far side, and he's decided it's a free kick. And Robinson, Harmer and all are around the referee, surrounding him right now, and he's, I think, going to start reaching for some cards here. He's given the free kick inside the D, literally half a yard outside the penalty area, but he is edging over towards his assistant on that far side. Oh, it's a red card. He's given the red card, and it's a sending off, and there's no repenting from Gavin Ward, who insists that was a last gasp challenge and the denying of a goal scoring opportunity, and it's Mepham that will have to go.
Well, there's a lot going on here. What I will say first of all is Ratsaki will be the most relieved man in the stadium, because his shot when he still thought the play was going on was absolutely woeful. That's the only thing I can say for it. It was awful. But then, in terms of that, it is a last-ditch challenge, and this is what I was saying about Sunderland. When you're on top, when you've got opportunities, you've got to score, because you know it can change so quickly. Now, this is interesting because I think it's a poor challenge. Do I think it's endangering an opponent in terms of a red card? No, I don't think it's overly high, and I don't think he's last man. I still think there's enough time for the covering defender to come across. But it's close, and that's what the decisions referee, in terms of what he's got to do, in quite a quick period of time. But I still think there's enough time for the defender to come across. I think a red card might be a little bit harsh there.
Well, Ballard was to the right, Hume was to the left. I think Ballard was probably the closer of the two, but Gavin Ward sends off Chris Mepham. He sent off for Wales against Poland. He got a red card earlier on this year, and he's gone again this time. We have 3 red and white striped shirts all over the ball, and he's literally half a yard outside the penalty area in the D. There's 5 in the wall for Sunderland, and they're almost on the 6-yard line. Who's going to hit this? Surely Harmer's going to be the favourite. Pecky's there as well, but it is Harmer who drills it straight into the wall. The rebound comes back to him. O'Hare on the right-hand side can't keep it in. It's put out of play, and that will be a goal kick. However, Sunderland may have snuffed out the danger. They'll play the rest of this game with 10 men. Yeah, that's the old adage with that one. It was too close. There's so many bodies in front. You can't get it up and over, so Harmer did the right thing in just terms of trying to put his foot through it. But I still stand by that in terms of the referee. I don't think it was the right decision. The challenge wasn't high. It wasn't endangering an opponent. So it must be the fact that he thought it was last man. But I still think there's enough time
and covering defenders are close enough for that not to be a red card.
Gavin Ward just in conversation with Chris Rigg. I'm not sure if Chris Rigg has suffered a bit of a problem. He was just speaking to Gavin Ward. He was checking if he was okay. So they are down to 10, and the conversation is, well, what are we doing here? And it looks like Dan Neil for the moment has dropped in at centre half. Vinny Souza is off the field at the moment, just following an injury, of course, from having won that penalty. Campbell's away here. Well, from the penalty, he must have got injured in the aftermath, Vinny Souza, because he's now been allowed back on the field of play. Campbell was chasing after it, but the offside flag was comfortably up. So a chaotic couple of minutes here, and I wonder what Sunderland are planning to do. They do, of course, have Elise on the bench as a potential option for a change should they want to make it, but for now it'll be Dan Neil that drops it.
They'll be ever so frustrated, Sunderland, because they're in total control really of that second period of the first half, and if they'd have scored, whether it be the penalty, whether it be one of the chances from Watson, this is a completely different game. But the story of the last few games for Sunderland is they've not taken their opportunities when they needed to, and it's come back to haunt them.
Watson doing well again on that far side. They're down to 10 men, but they're in possession. It's Dan Neil just tries to slip it to Watson on that far side. Gilchrist is with him all the way there, and Watson goes down, and then he slides in on a challenge against Gilchrist, and the ball goes out of play on that far side. I think both probably will want to get to half-time now. Sheffield United will feel that things may open up for them, but certainly for Regis Labrie, he's going to have a little rethink about his Sunderland side for that second 45 minutes. Here comes Burrows as they try to take advantage of Sunderland being down to 10 men here. 0-0 it remains. Harmer gives it infield to Souza. Souza looking to come forward down this left-hand side. Burrows has made a decent run. Tries to get to the byline, and there's a crunching challenge from Trey Hume. He slides in to win that ball. I think Harrison Burrows knew it was coming, so steered clear as he gets the throw for his side anyway. Robinson on this left-hand side. Here's Souza. You think with the way they like to keep the ball, Sheffield United, this could really suit them playing against 10 men.
Yeah, especially because physically, mentally, emotionally, that's going to wear Sunderland down, and you won't bet against them Blades being able to create an opportunity that they can score from.
And maybe they'll do it here. Campbell finds Raksaki on the right-hand edge of the penalty area, far side. Here's Harmer. Ball across, nearly comes to O'Hare. Couldn't quite apply the finish. Half clear for Sunderland, and then poked away properly this time by Rigg up towards halfway.
I think that's probably the Blades' best opportunity. A few yards out, wonderful ball across, and just O'Hare that can't quite get the toe to it.
Here's Souza looking for the run to be made on that far side by Harmer, who's gone out to that right-hand touchline now. O'Hare coming out to this left-hand side. Harmer slips that one in. Raksaki's there, looks to pull it back to the penalty spot, and in the end Harmer's chasing after his own ball as it was half cleared, and now Burrows slips the ball through the legs towards O'Hare, and that'll be a free kick for Sunderland for the foul, this time on Ballard inside the penalty area. 3 minutes added on at the end of this first half here on TalkSport 2, where it remains 0-0.
Well, for Sunderland it's just about getting in at half-time, isn't it, with the same scoreline, because this has given Sheffield United now the hope, the impetus to go forward, and for this last couple of minutes it's only been a short period of time since Mepham have been sent off, but they've probably put more balls in the box and been more attacking minded in these last couple of minutes than they have for most of the game, to be honest.
Mepham departing under the denying of a goal scoring opportunity law. Nothing coming from the resultant free kick for Sheffield United, but we've already seen a penalty saved in this game as well. Here's Campbell now down that right hand side. Campbell's got support. Raksaki's gone central. Here comes Souza to offer himself up, but he tries to go infield, and Isidore will pick it up at the edge of the centre circle. He spins away, and that's going to be potentially a yellow card. Is it for Souza? And he's off. That'll be his second yellow, and it's a red card for Harry Souza, and Sheffield United are down to 10 men as well in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Utter stupidity from Harry Souza. He's already been booked, and he pulls at Isidore's shirt. Isidore was inside his own half. It was unnecessary. He's got a second yellow, and it's 10 against 10 at Bramall Lane.
You're right, stupidity. He doesn't need to do it, and someone who we've waxed lyrical about Souza, saying how good he's been at the back for Sheffield United, the experience he's got. He's played some of the highest levels. He doesn't need to do that there. And look, I know Isidore earlier on in the season scored that wonderful goal, hasn't he, from the counter-attack where he goes from box to box, but there is no need to do it. There's so many covering defenders. I don't know what going through Souta's mind in that moment.
Well, we said this was a big game, and boy, have we got some drama towards the end of this first half. It's still goalless, but it's now 10 against 10. Harmer in a foot race here with Dan Neil. Dan Neil will get there first, and he'll give it back to Patterson, who just very calmly, maybe he's the only calm one down there out of the 20 heads that are currently on that football field. He just lays the ball down nicely. Roberts has gone down very easily there under the challenge from Harrison Burrows, and Gavin Ward having none of it on this occasion, and Sheffield United will keep possession. You're right though, there was two defenders covering Harry Souttar.
Yeah,
utter idiocy by him. Raksaki coming in now into the penalty area on that far side, trying to get on the end of Alfie Gilchrist's long ball, but it's gathered nicely by Anthony Patterson. I think we're in for a rip-roaring second half here.
Well,
with
exactly.
10 against 10.
And it's just beggars belief how this game has gone, and Souttar one of the more experienced players on this pitch, but it just shows you when sort of the atmosphere, the noise, the cacophony of it all, and the adrenaline gets pumping, sometimes you do lose your mind, and that's what he's done in that moment. There is no rhyme or reason for doing that.
Half-time at Bramall Lane then. 3 minutes added at the end have been played, and well, what an enthralling 45 minutes it was. It may be goalless as they head into the break, but plenty of action, plenty of incidents. Starting, of course, with that penalty save from Michael Cooper to deny Patrick Roberts low down to his left-hand side. That was after the youngster Tom Watson was fouled inside the penalty area. Then we saw a red card for Chris Mepham as he brought down Tyrese Campbell right on the edge of the box. Gavin Ward, the referee, deciding he denied a goal-scoring opportunity, and therefore Mepham seeing red straight away. And what, 3-4 minutes later, if that, Harry Souttar, who'd already been booked, decides he's going to tug at the shirt of Isidore, who was inside his own half with two defenders covering, and he gets a second yellow, which means at half-time they've got 10 apiece coming out for the second period. It remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. I think it's safe to say when they play 10-a-side, Sunderland do quite well. They're unbeaten so far this season on the two previous occasions they've had players sent off. They beat Burnley, of course, by 1-0, and then that goalless draw against Queen's Park Rangers after Bellingham's red card. They've actually stayed the same, so the assumption will be that Dan Neil is going to play probably maybe at that other centre-half position. We'll keep an eye on that, how they line up. Sheffield United have made a change, though. Callum O'Hare is the one who'll be cursing Harry Souttar because he's gone off and he's been replaced by Sariki, who's come on. So Gilchrist has dropped in at centre-half alongside Robinson. And of course, the funny thing being as well, that's two red cards by centre-halves losing their heads in the last three games for Sheffield United. Here they are though, Harmer on the attack down that left-hand side. Clever feet, gets the shot away, deflected and just wide. What a decent effort from Harrison Burrows on his right foot from the far edge of the penalty area, and that wasn't far away from giving Sheffield United the lead.
It wasn't. It was one of those moments, isn't it, where there was a sharp intake of breath in the Kop because no one knew where it was going to land after the deflection. Luckily, from a Sunderland perspective, it bobbles past the post in the end of Patterson.
Yeah, so Ahmed Hodzic sent off last Saturday, of course, and another red card tonight for a centre-half. Problems for Chris Wilder in that position then, and both losing their heads really, as that ball is knocked in this time by Raksaki, half cleared for Sunderland towards the edge of the penalty area. Watson's there, but he's just gone down, and he was caught by Raksaki on that occasion. So the teams line up for Sheffield United with Cooper in goal. It's Sariki now at right back, Gilchrist alongside Robinson, and Burrows at left back. It's Peck and Sousa in midfield with Raksaki, Harmer and Campbell. I think Harmer maybe will drop in, but we'll see. It looks at the moment they're playing very much in a kind of 4-2-2-1 formation, are Sheffield United. And as we mentioned, we'll keep an eye out on how Sunderland have chosen to line up, being down to 10 men as well. It does look like a three, doesn't it? Yeah. So Dan Neil staying in midfield, Ballard then tucking in with O'Nien and Hume, of course Patterson being in goal. So Neil, the real kind of holding midfielder. It's like they've got a line of four, that being Watson, Bellingham, Roberts and Rigg, with Isidore up front. So we'll see how this pans out. That looks more like a 3-1-4-1. So two very different approaches here to playing with 10 men. Let's see how they get on. Forward it goes. from Ballard this time into the feet of Bellingham. There should be a little bit more room to play. And Watson down this left-hand side will cut infield. Sunderland kicking from right to left towards their travelling fans in this second half. And they have possession on that far side at the feet of Patrick Roberts. Roberts goes back short this time to the right foot of Hume, whose ball in is just over the back of Joe Bellingham, who will keep it in by the corner flag on this left-hand side for Sunderland, all in that kind of blue outfit today. The red and white stripes, of course, being taken by the home side, Sheffield United. Here's Bellingham, left-hand side, onto his right foot, looks to go wide, onto his left foot past Sadiqi, but too much on it. Good defending from Sadiqi, the substitute, and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
Yeah, he does well, Sadiqi, there. Just getting his body in the way and making sure that Joe Bellingham can't just cut it back again, and he was trying to drive in with his left foot. But it's definitely interesting in terms of how they've set up Sunderland, are more expansive. They're sort of foregoing the midfield in a sense, trying to overload Sheffield United in wide areas, and it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out.
It will. In the FA Cup, Harrogate Town lead Gainsborough Trinity by a goal to nil. That was a 7:45 kick-off, so they're already at the midway point of the second half of that game. So Harrogate Town getting themselves in front and looking to progress into round 3 of the FA Cup. Don't we love the FA Cup third round draw? That'll be coming your way at the back end of the weekend, and all the big teams enter the fray for early January, of course, and you'll follow all of that right here across the TalkSport network. Oh, that's poor. Give it away. Not the best effort by Dan Neil that time, and it slipped in towards Tyrese Campbell, but runs over his toes and safely into the arms away to our right-hand side of Patterson.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Neil's thinking there. He's got his back to the rest of the pitch. He's facing his goalkeeper, just trying to flick it with his right foot round the corner and not even looking.
Not sure you can be doing that when you've got 10 men. I think you've got to be a little bit more suspect and careful about those kind of things, but Sunderland will come forward down this left-hand side. Regis Labrie had plenty of time to think at half-time as to what the plan was, and this is what he's gone for as Neil gives it to the right where Trey Hume is waiting. Hume will put it out wide on that far side. Roberts is there on his left foot, clips the ball towards Bellingham on this left-hand side inside the penalty area. Bellingham takes it down. He's got it in his right foot, tries to create some room. Instead he managed to give it to that far side where Hume is there, back into the feet of Bellingham at the edge of the box. Hume again. Roberts has got space on that far side, and it's Roberts and Rigg on that far touchline. It's going to be Rigg who just goes it back into Hume once more. Roberts have continued the run forward, happy to keep the ball at the moment, Sunderland, without stretching Sheffield United too much here. Watson on this left hand side on a charge now towards the edge of the penalty area. Good feet from Watson. Sadiqi does well and has the support of Raksaki, and they'll look to get it clear for Sheffield United, but in no real hurry this time. Sadiqi's closed down by Bellingham, still going on this near touchline, then immediately gives the ball away straight away to the feet of Luke O'Nien. Infield he goes, and picked up this time by Neil. And now once more with Hume. And Sunderland just trying to work it on that right-hand touchline. Back infield again to Neil. Neil once more to Bellingham. Out wide to this left-hand side to Watson. Edge of the box. Watson on the charge once more. Cutting onto that right foot of his. Finds Bellingham 25 yards out. Looks to tee it up. He does again for Hume. Hume then on the overlap gets it into Roberts, who tries to shoot goalwards. And it's deflected behind for a corner to Sunderland, right in front of that travelling support.
And it's interesting because it's total roles reversed for me. The first 5 or 10 minutes in the first half, it was all about Blades and how they were putting Sunderland under pressure, but now Sunderland have come out, and it's weird, isn't it, the mentality, because both teams have had players sent off, but it seems like Sunderland are the ones more buoyed by the situation and looking more aggressive and on the front foot.
Word from the referee's room downstairs is that Mepham was sent off for a denying of a goal-scoring opportunity, which I think none of us think it was, but there we go. It's going to be...
Don't matter what we think, we're up here, mate.
Yeah, this is true. Gavin Ward's decision is that it was a goal-scoring opportunity that was denied by Mepham's challenge that earned him that red card. Corner on that far side. Watson will deliver with his right foot for Sunderland. They've committed 4-5 into the box for this one, and it's coming back this time towards Hume, and then is cleared away to halfway where Dan Neil will pick it up, and Neil will clip it with his right foot to that far side. Watson's there and just skids off. Fairly damp surface because we've had a bit of light rain earlier. Another play for what will be a throw on that far side for Sheffield United.
Yeah, Bramall Lane as well. The pitch is really hard, so especially underfoot, when it gets wet, it does tend to skip off the turf because of how hard it is underneath.
And how different are many pitches? See, you fascinate me with that now. This is quite hard underfoot.
So obviously everyone's slightly different, but Bramall Lane is one of the harder ones. Some are a little bit softer. It depends, even on the grass seed it goes as far as that, and if there's 4G knitted into it. I won't bore you too much with it, but pitches are very different.
And that's why we have her with us, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the insight that we get here at Bramall Lane.
Horticultural expert.
Yeah, we do. 7.5 minutes played down this left-hand side. Here comes Watson again for Sunderland. He's lovely ball with his left foot across this time. Delivered first time, and Harmer is the player back, defending at the edge of the 6-yard area on this occasion. Here's Bellingham. All the pressure coming from the 10 of Sunderland against the 10 of Sheffield United. Isidore wants the foul. I think Bellingham wanted one before. The referee says no to both. And Sheffield United try and break. And they do. Siddiqui on this right-hand side. He's got Tyrese Campbell outside of him. Cuts back in field. Has the support from Siddiqui again. Raksaki's gone in the box. Harmer's in there too. Instead he chooses to feed it back into Peck. Peck 25 yards from goal. To the right-hand side. Siddiqui towards the byline. Will he get to the byline? No, he won't. Luke O'Nien just puts his body in the way and shepherds the ball out for what will be a goal kick for Sunderland away to the right-hand side.
The only thing I could think there was, if Sheffield United score here, all hell is going to break loose, because for me that was a blatant foul. I don't know how the referee doesn't give it, but Sheffield United do well. They break really quickly, but then just when they get in the final third, I think they stop. Give the opportunity for Sunderland to get numbers back, and the counter-attack breaks down.
And Sunderland charging out from the back again. I get the feeling that 10 against 10 might be quite interesting if the quality was to be lifted up a little bit, because there is so much room out there for both of these teams to play. It remains 0-0 on TalkSport 2. We are 9 minutes into the second half. It's still Brighton 1, Southampton 0 in the Premier League. That's our other exclusive live commentary tonight over on TalkSport. And in the FA Cup, Harrogate Town 1, Gainsborough Trinity 0 as things stand. Far side, here comes Sheffield United. It's with Harrison Burrows, over halfway, has the support of Raksaki this time, who will then go back inside his own half, where Robinson was there, and it's Harmer who wriggles away from two, but can't get away completely, and it's picked up by Bellingham, and now it's Rigg, has possession. Isidore's there, he's got two around him immediately. He steps away from Gilchrist. Isidore gets the shot away, and Cooper low down to his left-hand side has to make a good stop.
Yeah, I don't mind it, because it's putting the indecision in the mind of the defenders. Yes, Watson's there for the cutback, but I think if you're going to get on the ball, try and take it on. But the quality of this game in the second half has been dreadful from both sides. The passing accuracy, I don't even look at the stats because it must be way down, because the amount of stray passes is awful.
On this near side, it's Peck who's being harried and pulled and hassled by Luke O'Nien on halfway for Sunderland. The resilience of Sunderland at times this season in both those games where they were down to 10 men. As I say, they sneaked that 1-0 win against Burnley, and it was goalless in the game against Queen's Park Rangers after Bellingham was sent off. So they've already shown this season that they can be resilient. Of course, Sheffield United lost Ahmed Hodzic last weekend, and Coventry came away with that 2-2 draw in the end. So different experiences of playing with 10 men. But they're both going to have to do it here for another 35 minutes or so. Can either side break the deadlock? 0-0 it remains. Sunderland have it. Raksaki, 5 or 6 yards inside the Sunderland half on a charge. Still with the ball at feet. He's gone round 3 or 4, and then he's challenged and goes down. And it will be a free kick about 25, maybe a little more, 30 yards out from goal after Ballard's challenge. The pacing of the referee means the wall is probably about 2 or 3 yards in, so we'll say about 28 yards from goal, this one.
Yeah, and he draws that foul really well, Raksaki. Already gone past 2 or 3 players, and it's that one where he knows the challenge is coming, so he just makes sure he gets the ball in front of him and takes the knock on the shins.
Terrific feet from Jezza and Raksaki. 2 in 2 he's got. Scored a couple here against Luton earlier on in the season as well. On loan from Crystal Palace, of course, where he's made 1 Premier League start, but I think he's really stepped up into the Championship, having been at Charlton, of course, previously. That was back in 22-23. Here's the free kick. Left-footed one, and it's just skipped round the right-hand post. Harrison Burrows striking it, and it bounced once, but beyond the diving right hand of Patterson and not troubling him. Just not enough whip on that.
No, and it's always a difficult one. I think that, for me, suits the right footer more. You see what he's trying to do, whip it around the wall and bring it back, but I think the keeper always has that one covered. It's got to be absolutely spectacular to beat the keeper from there.
Lifted that Football League trophy last season, of course, with Peterborough. Goals already this campaign against Blackburn and Bristol City as well. But he made that left-back berth his own for Sheffield United.
EFL young player as well, League One. I presented him with that at the EFL Awards.
Down this left-hand side, it's Luke O'Nien on halfway. Infield to Dan Neal, who's closed down by Raksaki. He goes back towards Ballard. And Ballard to that right-hand side where Trey Hume will just go forward on that far touchline where Roberts and Rigg has gone outside of him, but Roberts goes early into the box towards Bellingham, who just knocks that down towards Isidore, who goes down in the penalty area. Sheffield United will get it clear though, away with Peck. Both players down inside the box after that coming together, and Harmer on that far side is denied any further advancement on that far touchline by Patrick Roberts' challenge.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity from Sunderland, and I sort of get the idea in terms of the header back, because you're not going to score from there with Cooper on his line, but it's just about the direction of the header or getting a touch on at this point. Watson's the one you want to look for in acres of space to the, well, it's to the left of Bellingham. As he's looking, it's to the right of Bellingham, and that was the better option.
At times now they've tucked back into a 4 with Sheffield United having possession. It's more of a 4-4-1 for Sunderland. I think it's going to be fairly fluid the way they play with these 9 outfield players in the second half. Gilchrist here on this near side with some room. Robinson's in acres of space, but he instead decides to go back to Suriki on this near side, and then Gilchrist will advance forward, and Watson's there, and Raksaki was having his shirt pulled, but it eventually comes to Suriki once more on this right hand side. Suriki on the charge towards the edge of the penalty area, helps in this way, offside flag up against Raksaki inside the penalty area on this right hand side of the box, and that will be another free kick for Sunderland and a chance to clear their lines. Tomorrow lunchtime here on TalkSport 2, more Championship football for you. Watford against Queen's Park Rangers is live from 12:30. Game Day Live is underway from 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on TalkSport if you want to follow all the goals as they go in around the country from the EFL, the FA Cup second round, and of course the Premier League as well. And we'll have that classified results service for you at 5 o'clock as well. And here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow afternoon from 3, it's Nottingham Forest against Ipswich in the Premier League. Forest, a couple of defeats, looking to get back to winning ways, and Ipswich again looking to build on that victory over Spurs and that point at home against Manchester United last weekend. Sunderland on the counter here. Isidore's in the middle. Watson's there as well on this left-hand side with ball at feet. Watson tees it up to Dan Neal. Takes a touch inside the penalty area. Brilliant bit of defending that time by Harrison Burrows. And then he clips it away on that far side. Palmer's after it, but he can't quite get there. Here comes Sunderland again with Roberts on the far side. Short to Bellingham. Bellingham in the middle. Watson wants it, gives it to him on this left-hand side. He'll look to go onto that right foot of his, but it was telegraphed to Peck, who read it really well, but they've kept possession though. Luke O'Nien into Watson again, who's become a pivotal figure in this game for Sunderland. It's Bellingham now on the charge. Left-hand side, O'Nien gets it across the box, but it's cleared at the edge of the 6-yard box comfortably by Alfie Gilchrist. And I think it's probably fair to say Sunderland have adapted to the 10 men better than Sheffield United. Yeah, they haven't. As you mentioned it earlier, Adam, they're adaptable. So in possession, they go back to the 4-4-1 and are difficult to beat. When they're in possession like this, they'll go in a 3. They'll get effectively the wing backs really high. And they're Sheffield United, the way that they're set up, are trying to boss the midfield, but the problem is they're not going through the midfield, Sunderland. They're going in the wide areas where they've got numbers up and they're overloading Sheffield United. Sunderland on the attack down this left-hand side. Left-footed ball played, it'll be a corner for Sunderland on this left-hand touchline. Brighton 1, Southampton 1 in the Premier League. Flynn Downs with the equalising goal for the Saints at the Amex Stadium. That game live right now over on TalkSport. If you are listening on the TalkSport app, of course, you can flick between games. If you aren't an owner of the TalkSport app on your smartphone or your tablet, then that's very silly of you. And it's about time you downloaded it, because there's plenty of good stuff on there and plenty of great radio stations for you to listen to, including this very one, TalkSport 2. And we've got 28 minutes left of this game. Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. Both teams down to 10 men after a crazy 10 minutes at the end of the first half. Corner to Sunderland on this left-hand side. Watson will lift it right-footed towards the back post, over the top of everyone, and out of play for what will be a goal kick for Sunderland. Courtney Sweetman, Kirk, how is this game going to be won? Is it going to be one moment of quality, we think?
I think it is, and that's what these teams have got to find, because as much as Sunderland have looked the better again in this second half and more likely, just in that final third, there's not been enough quality. There's been poor decision making, giving the ball away. There's moments like this, playing out from the back and the ball being given away. So it's just about the calmness and the composure, and I think it will be dictated by one moment of magic from someone.
Well, we've had moments of madness, so moments of magic would probably be welcome at some point in this game. Don't forget, if you are listening and you are infuriated by Harry Souter or irritated by the referee for saying Chris Mepham denied a goal-scoring opportunity, then the Sports Bar Weekender is on TalkSport from 10 tonight with Jason Gundy and Carlton Cole. He can book your calls for that. 03717 223344 is the number to dial, and also you can do a voice note via WhatsApp to that very same number if you want to get in touch. That's underway from 10 tonight. That's once the game between Brighton and Southampton is finished over on TalkSport. Here's Sousa inside his own penalty area, playing with it. Riggs there as well, tries to get it back, driven shot from Isidore is wide, and he was only 12 yards out. I mean, the question marks will be, what is Vinny Sousa doing when there's two around him in that manner? And I think Jack Robinson's just said exactly that to him. Yes, I think that's the conversation they're having, and it's one of those for Isidore. Probably needs to hit the target, but he knows he's not got a lot of time here. So on the half volley, it's on the bounce. He needs to hit it quickly. But again, play the odds. Go across the goalkeeper. Don't try and tuck it in the near post. Long clearance for Sheffield United and Michael Cooper. Sariki, who's looked the most dangerous since he come on, he's fouled there by Luke O'Nien. He's going to get a yellow card for that because he had his arms round his neck. And another booking. Absolute mile off, and that's where Raksaki's running in behind O'Nien. So that's when he gets to that moment where he knows he shouldn't have gone and engaged Sariki, but now at the point I've got to do something, because otherwise it's going in behind me. Taken quickly. Here is Sariki again down this right hand side. Peck's there as well, outside of the right foot, tries to find Sariki, who does get the crossover and straight into the hands, the waiting hands of Anthony Patterson. Yeah, he does well, but it's a lack of numbers in the box. Campbell's trying to come across and get something on it. Raksaki's behind him, but that's the problem that you've got now physically as well. This will start to play havoc on your body. Well, someone who doesn't seem to be short of running is Tom Watson down this left-hand side, still going on his left foot this time. Tries to lift the ball in, and it's blocked out. And well, Watson from the academy started 3 of the last 4 in the Championship, having just made 1 sub-appearance in each of the last 2 years. He just been given a lot of trust by Regis Labrie. Without the senior goal, it's come quite close tonight though. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the match winner or has a big hand in it in some way, because for me I think he's been the best player on the pitch tonight. Here's Rigg on this left-hand side. He's only 18 years of age as well, Tom Watson. Rigg's going to deliver this one this time with his left foot, and again it's towards the penalty spot this time. It's nodded down, but a bit of pushing being done by Dan Ballard this time, according to the referee. And they'll try and break away quickly here, Sheffield United, but they won't get away. And it's coming back with Sunderland again. Rigg on this left-hand side, level with the penalty spot towards the back post, over the top of Roberts' head, and out of play for a throw-in on that far side to Sheffield United. They're playing with fire here, Sheffield United, because they're trying to play quickly. I understand the urgency, but actually, no, I'm just looking at the clock now. You want to get yourself ahead as quick as possible, but it doesn't need to be that urgent. They're playing like they're down by 1. It's the last 5 minutes of the game, and they've just got to get the ball forward, and by doing that there's such a lack of quality on the ball, and they're causing their own problems. They've won the last 4 league meetings against Sunderland. It's not a game that happens too often. They've not lost here in the league against Sunderland since back in October 2003, and there's been no draw in the last 11 between these sides. Maybe tonight is the night. It remains goalless. It's one of the more entertaining 0-0s, that's for sure, as we head towards the midway point of the second half on TalkSport 2. It remains Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. Gilchrist inside the centre circle, right to this near side. Sariki is there. Sariki will just go infield again, and Peck just comfortably plays it back to Gilchrist, and Robinson has it. Bit of possession here maybe for Sheffield United now. Burrows on that far side, good take down first time. Harmer's there to support him. He's dropped a little bit deeper in this second half as Gustavo Harmer. Here's Gilchrist once more on this right-hand side. Again, Sariki is out here on this near touchline. The former academy player again for his first start against Oxford in midweek. On at half-time here. Chris Wilder really using the youngsters and the width of his bench in these last few games and the depth of his bench. It's Sariki again on this right-hand side, blocked out this time by Nuko 9. And it's going to be another throw in this time, I think, right by the corner flag for Sheffield United.
To be fair, Sariki's been brilliant since he's come on. He's defended really well, he's got forward, and he's looked probably the most confident and composed on the ball.
Peck tries to get a crossover, but again 09 puts it out of play. This time it'll be a corner for Sheffield United on this right-hand side. And now we're going to see one of those in-swingers. I was actually reading that less than 3% of corners have led to goals in the Championship this season. That's the lowest in 10 years.
Wow.
So everyone gets excited about a corner, but they don't very often lead to a goal. I think it's safe to say, not directly from the shot anyway. The aftermath, I think, is about 9%, but here is the corner from Burrows on this near side. Left-footed, swung into that 6-yard box. It's half-headed away by Ballard, and then, well, Bellingham has clearly in the isolation. Bellingham, Isidore has completed in completely the wrong direction and has given away a corner.
Yeah, he's literally just kicked the ball back into the cop, got that completely wrong.
Another corner. Burrows again. Raksaki is short, and he's got room if they go short, because he's been left alone, but Burrows does swing it towards the back post, half punched away, and now maybe a counter's on. It's Bellingham on that far side, who's closed down by Sousa, who slips, and he goes through the legs of Campbell up to Isidore, and Sunderland decide not to attack at pace, but instead to get a few more numbers forward. Rig on halfway, slips as he puts that pass forward, and in the end it means it's quite comfortable for Sheffield United, and the standard of passing hasn't really improved as this half's gone on.
No, and I tell you why he's really disappointed as well, because Roberts makes a fantastic run on the right-hand side, and if that ball finds him, he's in acres of space.
There's a chance maybe down this right-hand side. Sariki trying to get in round the back, but again, 09 is there and gets it away as far as Bellingham, and Isidore against Robinson, and Robinson will go back to Cooper, who's 5 yards outside his own penalty area, all in orange away to our left-hand side. Listen to the crowd around us trying to drive Gilchrist on down this right-hand touchline. Here's Sariki. Sariki back inside again to Alfie Gilchrist. Gilchrist in the centre circle finds Robinson. Robinson forward to the feet of Harmer. Harmer is about 15 yards inside the Sunderland half as he clips the ball over the top. Sariki will get to this at the byline. Everyone in the Kop stands. It's right in front of him. Sariki feeds it out to Vinny Sousa, who drives it. And it's a save that was slightly, I think, took a deflection, and it had to be made by Patterson quite dramatically. It was comfortable in the end. Here's Sariki this time. Sariki! Saved by the feet of Patterson at the near post. The goal was gaping for him, but he forces Patterson into an excellent stop.
An absolutely unbelievable save. Patterson is diving right to his right, like he's going to go across the goal, and then saves it with his feet at his near post.
Harmer still with the ball at feet, looks to play a 1-2 with Raksaki. He holds the ball up and finds Sousa, clips the ball over the top, Campbell with a header, and into the arms of Patterson, quite comfortably in the centre of his goal.
And Patterson doesn't get up very quickly, and that's a good idea, because that's probably Sheffield United's best spell of the second half, so he's just taking the moment to calm everything down for Sunderland.
Cameron Archer didn't deliver too many goals when he was here at Sheffield United last season, but he's delivered for Southampton. They've come from behind. Brighton 1, Southampton 2 in the game at the Amex over on Talk Sport right now. Come back for Southampton, and maybe that second victory is on the cards. Oh, that's poor. It's given away by Dan Neil. Here's Peck on the charge forward to the right-hand side. Peck just with a bit of support that comes from Sousa. Harmer, 25 yards out. He's got Burrows to the left. Harmer decides he's going to clip a ball through the middle where no one's running, and it's picked up that time by Patterson away to our right-hand side. 18 and a half minutes left here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
I think that probably just sums up the game at times for both sides. Harmer, I think, is trying to do too much. There's the option on the right-hand side. He tries to thread the eye of the needle to Peck. They're both not on the same wavelength. And, yeah, again, it's an opportunity in the final third that goes begging because of poor play.
Both these sides very good at denying goal-scoring opportunities. 4 clean sheets in the last 6 in total for Sunderland in this 10-game unbeaten run that they're on. We all know about the prowess defensively of Sheffield United, so maybe it's no great surprise it's 0-0. In fact, maybe, I think we heard in the odds before the game, it was a pretty decent price for a draw. Still got time. And maybe a chance here on that right-hand side. Here's Roberts. Can he cut onto his left foot inside the penalty area? Roberts still going and wins his side, the corner on the far side for Sunderland.
Well, at least it's an opportunity, although that stat you pulled out earlier about 3%, it maybe doesn't look quite as good now.
This is sorry to have ruined it for everyone. It's going to be the corner on that far side. It's Chris Rigg, so it's going to be an in-swinger again. They're more measured in their in-swingers and out-swingers from what I recall, but certainly the majority is how Sunderland like to just try and put it on the goalkeeper if they can, but maybe not this time round, because everyone's standing at the edge of the box as Rigg gets that over, and it's Ballard who gets the header down. It was fairly weak. I think it was half shoulder as well, and it was easily cleared from the edge of the 6-yard box that time. Now they've got it back again though. Here's Bellingham. Bellingham tries the shot. It's blocked by Gilchrist. Takes another ricochet, and it's another corner, this time on the Sunderland left.
It's not a bad idea from Bellingham. You see what he's trying to do, strike through it and try and find that bottom right-hand corner, but it's well blocked.
Well, I think there's no doubt that Sunderland, I thought they probably had the majority of shots, but I think it's fairly even. The goal has been disallowed by Cameron Archer, by VAR apparently. So it remains 1-1 down at the Amex. Here's Watson inside the penalty area. It was a corner that was taken short. His clip ball in is cleared as far as Dan Neal. He's got options. He's going direct. First ball swung into the penalty area. Cooper gathers really nicely and does very well. The 25-year-old. I mean, Cooper's been impressive. Potentially for England, maybe? Is that somewhere for him potentially?
Why not? I think he's been brilliant this season. Obviously, Jordan Pickford is the main man at the moment, but you say 25 years old is still really young, and it's a massive prospect for the future, and we've got to start forward planning, I think, for our England number one.
That's what I was thinking. 25, he's still got his probably best years to come as a goalkeeper, for sure. Sunderland, I think Rigg has been caught, and the referee has now called up a foul. I don't think he was intending to, but Gus Harmer definitely caught Chris Rigg, and it'll be a free kick for Sunderland midway inside their own half, and I think Harmer's protesting may well find him in the book here.
Yeah, I was going to say that reaction there, he needs to be careful, because he might not have even been on for a caution for the foul, but he's certainly going to talk himself into the book now. Well,
he's also not rushing towards Gavin Ward too, and in the end Gavin Ward has half met him and has walked to him, and it's an exchange between the two of them. Harmer continuing to protest his innocence, and I think that's definitely what got him a yellow card. Rigg is up and about, but both teams have taken it as an opportunity to maybe get a refresh from both coaches as to how they're going to try and win this game of football.
Yeah, and 15 minutes left. I think this is where you potentially start making more substitutes or change the style of play. You can get to the point now, probably not quite now, but give it 5 minutes. When you get to 80 odd minutes, you can play with a bit more urgency. That I was speaking about. The Sheffield United, actually, they've done for me for a little bit too long, because when you play with that type of urgency, you open yourself up, and you're potentially going to lack quality at times, but it's on the off chance. It's about the risk and reward of scoring a goal and getting the winner.
A reminder, when we're done here on TalkSport 2 tonight, we're heading straight to Christchurch for day 3 of the first test between New Zealand and England. So we'll head to Christchurch as soon as we are finished. Play due to get underway there at 10 o'clock. Laksaki's off, and on comes Tom Davis, the first of the changes, and we're also going to see Tyrese Campbell depart, and Ryan One will enter the fray for Sheffield United. So a couple of pairs of fresh legs, and we're also going to see a change here for Sunderland, and Eliza Mayenda is coming on, and in fact it's a double change as well. Adji Elisi is coming on too. And Patrick Roberts is the first player to depart for Mayenda. And that second change, we'll see LSE coming on once the fourth official learns how to work the board properly. He's certainly taken his time about it, and it's going to be Tom Watson who's coming off. Well, I don't think that'll go down well with Sunderland fans. They're obviously giving a huge round of applause, but I mean, what an excellent performance from Tom Watson. Yeah,
I'm really surprised, and look, I get it, you need to try and manage young players, and there might be something in the back of the mind of the manager that's thinking, right, this is the minutes I'm going to give him, and we've got to try and bed him in stages. But when you're chasing a goal, he's the brightest player on the pitch. I'm surprised to see him come off.
I mean, a little change. Dan Neal's been freed up for Alessi going into the back three for Sunderland. On that far side, that initial challenge on Mayenda, he thought he was fouled. Tom Davies is over there. Of course, it was good to see Davies back. First sub appearance against Oxford. Hamstring injury kept him out for a large part of last season. Also been fairly open about some of the mental health issues he suffered following that hamstring injury and his inability to play football. So it's really good to see him back out on the grass again for a second time this season, this evening for Sheffield United. Here's Sariki down the right-hand side. Really nice challenge from Alessi, who's just come on. He stops Sariki and then just gives the ball away to Harmer. Harmer's ball into the box. He's given it away too. It's won by Bellingham. And now comes out to Rigg, who's moved into a wide area since those substitutions.
Contagious, isn't it, this giving away the ball? You think there's going to be a moment where someone takes control of the game and that could be a pass back.
Well, I think Bellingham was being challenged at the time by Peck, and the referee's not given that as a back pass. I mean, to me it looked like a back pass, I'm not going to lie. But Gavin Ward, nope, not interested.
Yeah, it's a strange one, that. There might have been contact on the ball from the defender, but I think most of it came from Bellingham, and the intent was to play the ball back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. Well, there's another chorus of "You're not fit to referee" coming from the Sheffield United supporters. That's not the first time tonight. Riggs away down this left-hand side towards the byline. Wins his side a corner, does he? Or is he one his? No, he's given away a goal kick, which will be Sheffield United's away to our left-hand side. We've got 11 minutes plus time to be added on here at Bramall Lane. It remains 0-0 on TalkSport 2. And forward now down this right-hand touchline comes Sheffield United. And it's with Peck. Infield is Souza. Weary legs, surely, with the amount of ground they're having to cover tonight. They've got a bit of help in there now from Tom Davies as well. Here's Robinson to the left-hand side. Harrison Burrows is there. Burrows gives it short into Vinny Souza again. Well held up under pressure that time from Dan Neal. Now to this right-hand side. Sadiq is here. Looking to charge towards the byline again. He goes low across the box this time. And it's cleared away by Ballard from inside the 6-yard box again for another throw level with the edge of the penalty area on this near side for Sariki, which is taken very quickly to Harmer. Here's Harmer again. And it's a left-footed shot over the top from Peck. Just got it out from under his feet, couple of touches, and he wasn't too far away.
Yeah, I like the way that he initially receives it though, on the half turn, ready to face forward, but just gets underneath it at the vital moment.
10 minutes remaining. 0-0 still here at Bramall Lane. One of the biggest games in the Championship so far this season. Of course, it's Sheffield United, who currently sits second. They will be the beneficiaries of a point to take them top of the table. Leeds, of course, still to come in action this weekend. Burnley as well, there or thereabouts too. It's starting to look like another cracking fight for promotion at the top of the table. Oh, that's a lovely ball over the top here. Isidor's done brilliantly. He's got three round him. He's got support on that far side from Mayenda. Isidor then goes down, but I think it's tiredness more than anything. He wanted to try and win a free kick that was never coming. Here's Neal. Mayenda on that far side. On his right foot, looking to cut infield on his left. Gives it to Dan Neal again. There's more support wide on that far touchline. Cross is going to come across, and a corner is given. First time ball laid across that time at pace. Was well blocked out by Robinson.
Well, Joe Bellingham's not happy. He's having words with Isidore, and rightly so, because he does well. You're right, Adam, it's not a foul, but then initially at that point, just get back up, because you can play it to one of your teammates. You're too busy rolling around on the floor, and the moment's gone.
Trey Hume is going to deliver this corner from that right-hand side for Sunderland as they desperately knock on this Sheffield United door, and it's ricocheting around, and Cooper will gather it at the back edge of the 6-yard box on this near side, and he'll set Vinny Souza away, and there's 4 red and white shirts forward here. Souza charging down this right-hand side. There's 3 in the box, and Bellingham has tracked him all the way and blocks it out for a throw on this near side.
Yeah, he does so well there, Bellingham. Doesn't give it up, takes the inside line as well, so just cuts the distance down that he has to run just to try and stay level with Souza to make the block.
Sadiki, pressure continues from Sheffield United. on this right-hand side. The Kop trying to suck that goal in away to our right-hand side. Out with Sousa again into the feet of Davis, helped on his way to Peck inside the penalty area. It's Davis again. Davis dancing his way through, gets the shot away, and Tom Davis has scored for Sheffield United. Only his second appearance of the season. A heartbreaking campaign last time round because of a hamstring injury. He hasn't scored since October 2021, and it's Tom Davis, the super sub, who scores for Sheffield United. What a story, and what a moment for the young man. It's Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0.
Incredible. If this place had a roof, it would have been blown off then, because the noise when that ball hit the back of the net was absolutely incredible. And they've weathered the storm, Sheffield United. They didn't look the more likely, but somehow they've found a way, and it's nice, crisp passing. It starts with Davis, the one-touch pass on the edge of the box, and then he manages to get the ball. It's a bit fortuitous, but then at that point, can you hit it hard and low across the goalkeeper? I mean, it goes under Patterson. It's not the best. He won't want to see it again, but nonetheless, he hits the target. And you mentioned about Davis, some of the struggles he's had with his mental health, with his injury. So what a moment that is for him.
Certainly is an emotional moment, I'm sure, not just for him but for his family, and hailed by these Sheffield United supporters who have been behind him 110% during those struggles. Couple more changes coming for Sunderland. Ayochichi's coming on, and also Aaron Connolly. Isidore has departed. It's one of the two changes. Going to be another change for Sheffield United as well. Chris Wilder just making that at the last moment. They'll get back underway though, and it's an opportunity maybe for Sunderland now to try and just pull maybe a couple of further players forward if they can. That's what he's trying to do with those changes, with Connolly on too. He'll move into that central area. Adil Ayochichi on this near side. On the charges, Mayenda on that far touchline. Mayenda at the edge of the penalty area on his left foot. Gives it to Alese. And now Bellingham. Ayochichi gets it in, and it comes out to Alese inside the box. Can't get the shot away, and Cooper's there. And will collect. Desperate defending again from Sheffield United, who are about to send Reece Norrington-Davies on just to stiffen up the back line, I suspect.
They get away with one there against Sheffield United, but you know, you look at the scoreboard, 1-0 at this point, you think that's the game won, but it's going to be a tough 5 minutes and whatever's added, because there's been zero control really in this game for both sides. The momentum swung so frequently, so you won't put it past Sunderland being able to get one back. But if it does stay like this, you look at moments like this in a league, you know, in a season, and go, you know what, we didn't play very well, we made it hard work for ourselves, but we came away with the 3 points. And if they do, Sheffield United, this will feel massive, because this might be the reason that they get promoted.
Well, just for clarity and to do a bit of housekeeping for you, Chris Rigg was the other player who went off for Sunderland in that latest batch of substitutions. Throw in on this left-hand side. We're into the last 5 minutes on TalkSport 2. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. Alesi gets it forward over halfway. Bellingham into Ayochichi on this near side. Keeps the ball. Force backwards. Foul on him. It'll be a free kick. Chris Wilder's arms are outstretched. It'll be a chance for Norrington-Davies to come on, but actually it won't, because they've taken the free kick quickly here. Oh, and there's a chance maybe for Harmer. Harmer's robbed it away. Harmer inside the penalty area on a tight angle into the side netting. Frustration, I think, showing. Ryan 1 was in the middle, but in fact it's been called as a corner, and now the substitution will take place.
Yeah, well, it's 0-9 losing out again. He's definitely not had his best game in a Sunderland shirt, and Harmer quite gladly picks his pocket, but probably needs to find his teammate in the middle.
Harrison Burrows is the player who's coming off. Reece Norrington-Davies will go on. A reminder, it's still Brighton 1, Southampton 1 in that game over on TalkSport right now. Here, it's Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. Harrogate Town are in the draw for the third round of the FA Cup. They've beaten Gainsborough Trinity by 1-0. And we're off to the cricket soon. Once this enthralling, I hope the cricket is exciting tonight, as this game has been. Maybe the quality a bit higher, but We've had the drama.
Can't have everything.
And we've had a lovely moment, and that's the important thing. 3 minutes to go. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. Sheffield United have the corner on that far side. There's only 2 players in the box, though. I don't think they're going to try really hard with this one.
That's gone down to about 0.5% now.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to try and keep it in the corner, which, with 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go, I'm not sure that's the wisest tactic, but it's Wilder ball, and well, we talked about it being a power league game. It looked a little bit like that over by that corner flag a moment ago. There was 4 legs all tussling in about a yard or 2 of space, but it is out. Sheffield United have it. Sousa has it on halfway. It's back to Gilchrist. And this is all about how Sheffield United now can manage this game to the end, isn't it?
Yeah, simple as that. Obviously, Sunderland can pull something out of nowhere, but for me, this is about Sheffield United now. Your experience. How do you manage the game? How do you keep the ball? How do you take these moments, for example, when you win a foul? How much can you delay it without, getting a yellow card, getting a caution?
Well, they wanted a foul on that far side. It's not been given by Gavin Ward. Tom Davies is over there just checking on the well-being, I think, of Vinny Sousa, I think, is the player that's down. I know he'll certainly make the most of those moments, I suspect. And just a moment for Tom Davies with that goal as well. It was terrific skill the way he worked it onto his right foot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And as I mentioned, I love the fact that he's the one that starts it outside on the edge of the box. It's a one-touch pass in. He keeps his run going. And as you say, the way he so quickly shifts the ball to get it onto his right foot. And sometimes, look, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best of finishes. It goes through the goalkeeper. But sometimes you just got to hit it hard and low, get the shot off and think about everything else later.
He only managed 9 appearances in the Premier League last season due to those hamstring problems, the last of which I think was around March time. But as we say, much deeper than the physical, the mental issues he faced as well. He's come back from those. And what a goal to score if it turns out to be the winner as well, to take Sheffield United top of the Championship table. A 12th win it would be for them in 18 games. And certainly firing them on the right road back to the Premier League. Here are Sunderland searching to find a way back. 30 seconds of normal time remaining. I suspect there'll be maybe 5 or 6 added at the end of this game. As on this near side, Bellingham, he's got 2 round him, he's still going, still trying to keep the ball at feet, and in the end Gilchrist puts it into touch for a throw to Sunderland. Agialessi will take it. We wait to see how much time is going to be added on. The 4th official, Sam Allison, down below, will start to emerge with his board in a few seconds time. In the meantime, Mayenda on that far side inside the penalty area. Neil's chasing after it, can't get there. It's 4 minutes added on at the end of this game then. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. 4 minutes for Sunderland to try and find their way back in this game. I can't believe some people are leaving already. However, it's going to be Sheffield United with a goal kick away to our left-hand side. I mean, I would argue probably on the balance of play, I think Sunderland probably maybe deserved it a little more, but
yeah, definitely.
They're going to feel a little bit hard done by tonight.
Yeah, I agree. They created the better opportunities. We can speak about, was it a red card? There's no doubt that the Harry Souttar one was. They've had a penalty which they've missed, but it all goes back to you have to take your opportunities. I said it in the first half when they were really on top. You have to score now because otherwise you're going to regret it, and that's the big thing with Sunderland tonight. And on the other side of it, Tom Davies has come on, he's grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, he's got the goal, and whether they deserve it or not, Sheffield United, they're heading to the top of the table again.
Ryan One's just been booked for smacking the ball away with his hand when they were preparing to take a free kick. Patterson is going to take this free kick, even though it's on the halfway line. Right-footed for Sunderland, launched into the Sheffield United penalty area. Bellingham's there on this near side. Alessi will try and get the crossover. It's deflected. It comes to Bellingham, opens his foot up, gets it to the far side. Mayenda's there with the first shot. It's blocked, and then the effort in the end from Ballard goes over the top of the bar. It's a terrific block from Sheffield United for the first effort from Mayenda. And in the end, Ballard's shot is wide, and it'll be a goal kick. But again, they've just been lifting Peck up off the floor.
Yeah, and the way it came to Mayenda, certainly more by luck than judgment. It's Joe Bellingham that tries to get the shot off, gets underneath it, gets it completely wrong. He's lucky that falls to Mayenda, but it's another good block in the nick of time.
Sam McCallum's coming on for Gus Harmer as Chris Wilder just winds that clock down a little bit more. We've had 2 of the 4 minutes added at the end of this game. They've won their last 7 prior to today at home without conceding. Back in 2019 they did it for 8 games. Tonight they would match that. Chelsea did it for 9. That was back in 2010 in the Premier League. They were the last team to have a better run at home without conceding in the top 4 divisions in England. And who knows, with Sheffield United, they may get there themselves, bearing in mind the next home game is against Plymouth here. Out for a corner on that far side for Sheffield United. Brilliant hard work, and there's chest pumping there between Peck and Ryan One. There'll be some celebration tonight. We may even find a bar where Chris Wilder's standing on a table. Who knows?
I think that's why Suited and Booted is all ready to go out.
It's going to be a corner on that far side. Dan Neil just being spoken to by the referee, and they're in absolutely no rush to take this corner. In fact, they're very slowly telling players like Luke O'Nien to get out the way. We're going to have another little exchange by the corner flag. I suspect Tom Davies is going to say, or at least pretend, that he's going to line up to swing this into the box. But given that there's only Ryan One inside the penalty area, we know what's coming. And no surprise, they've used Vinny Souza and his physical presence as the blocker on that far side. Davies still has the ball at his feet, and he goes back towards halfway. 3.5 of the 4 minutes added have been played. You're listening to TalkSport 2. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. Long ball punted over the top here, and it's going to be headed back and away. Alesso's going to get there, but he's not going to get there because it's going to come out to Peck, and Peck's going to find Sadiki, who tries the shot, and it's blocked inside the box again by Dan Ballard. And Chris Wilder just turns round to the supporters, just pumping his chest and screaming with delight. A game that's been played for the whole of the second half, 10 against 10. And we've had the 4 minutes added on, but they're in no rush to take this corner again. Gavin Ward has the whistle to his lips. He's saying, come on, get on with it. But Tom Davies and Vinny Souza are definitely taking their time. This time round, maybe Davies is going to know he's not. He's going to play it short, isn't he? And they're immediately coming in crouching. I think he's going to give a yellow card here to Tom Davies for just not getting on with it. So Davies is booked as well. Souza's giving plenty to the assistant on this near side.
I get that though. It's because the defenders have encroached at that 10 yards. So by rights, the referee should be telling them to get back. Instead, they've booked Davies.
Souza, and it's going to be a throw-in for Sheffield United, right by the corner flag. There's Housery going on to see this game out, that's for sure. And it's going to be, well, it's a throw. Souza's put it down, and the referee just says enough is enough, and he blows his whistle, and Bramall Lane erupts, and Vinny Souza lifts Tom Davies in the air. He's the hero of the hour for Sheffield United, and what a moment for him as well. It's his goal that's won the game for the 10 men of Sheffield United against the 10 of Sunderland, and what a moment it was too. Only his second game back from a hamstring injury and from suffering some real mental health issues to get back in the game. He's been given the bumps now by his teammates. What a moment down in that corner. All the substitutes are on to celebrate with him as well. It's a night that Tom Davies will remember for a long time. It's fantastic to see him back playing football, and even better to see him scoring the winning goal tonight for Sheffield United. They go top of the Championship. It's finished here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0.